Title: Be Unstoppable. Own Your Journey by AI Audiobooks Empire. Introduction. Life is not a race against others. It is a sacred journey of discovering the greatness within yourself. Every soul carries a divine assignment, a unique calling that cannot be duplicated or replaced. Dr. Miles Monroe often taught that purpose is the key to fulfillment, and without it, people wander aimlessly, chasing shadows instead of substance. To be unstoppable is not about brute force or blind ambition. It is about clarity of vision, discipline of character, and faith in the Creator who designed you with intention. Proverbs remind us, where there is no vision, the people perish. This audiobook is not merely a collection of words. It is a guide to owning your journey, embracing wisdom, and walking in righteousness, so that you can live with confidence, impact, and eternal significance. In these chapters, you will encounter principles that transcend circumstances and seasons. Each lesson is grounded in timeless truths, enriched with proverbs, and illuminated by the teachings of Dr. Monroe, who emphasized that success begins with understanding your divine assignment. The journey is not about speed, but about direction, not about competition, but about destiny. The world may measure greatness by comparison, but true greatness is measured by obedience to purpose. As the proverb says, "Better is the end of a thing than its beginning." Your journey is not defined by how quickly you start, but by how faithfully you finish. As you listen, let these words sink deep into your spirit. They are not mere motivational lines, but guiding principles that will shape your decisions, strengthen your resolve, and awaken your potential. This is not just an audiobook. It is a companion for your journey toward becoming unstoppable. It is a call to rise above mediocrity, to silence the voices of doubt, and to embrace the discipline, resilience, and wisdom that transform ordinary lives into extraordinary testimonies. The path ahead will not always be easy, but it will always be worth it. For the one who owns their journey, every step becomes a victory, every trial a teacher, and every decision a seed of destiny. Welcome to AI Audiobooks Empire, a channel dedicated to stories and wisdom that uplift, empower, and transform lives. Please like, share, and subscribe so you can continue this journey of growth with us. Now, settle in and let's begin. Be unstoppable. Own your journey. Chapter 1. The Power of Vision. Vision is the seed of destiny, the invisible picture of your future planted deep within your spirit. Without vision, life becomes a cycle of survival rather than a pursuit of significance. Dr. Miles Monroe taught that vision is the ability to see beyond your present reality into the future God has prepared for you. It is not imagination alone, but revelation, a divine glimpse of what could be, anchored in purpose. Proverbs declare, "The plans of the diligent lead surely to abundance." When you own your journey, you must first own your vision, for vision is the compass that ensures your steps are not wasted. A person without vision is like a ship without a rudder, tossed by waves of circumstance, drifting wherever the wind blows. But a person with vision is steady, intentional, and unstoppable, because they know where they are going even when the path is unclear. Vision gives direction to discipline. It is what keeps you steady when distractions arise, and what fuels perseverance when challenges threaten to derail you. A person with vision is like a traveler with a compass. They may face storms, but they never lose their way. Dr. Monroe often reminded us that vision is not about where you are, but about where you are going. It transforms sacrifice into investment, turning temporary discomfort into purposeful preparation. Vision whispers in the silence of struggle, reminding you that the pain of today is shaping the promise of tomorrow. Proverbs say, "Without vision, the people cast off restraint." Vision restrains you from wasting time, from chasing trivial pursuits, and from surrendering to discouragement. It is the anchor that holds you steady when motivation fades, the light that shines when darkness surrounds, and the voice that says, "Keep going, for the future is worth it." To be unstoppable, you must write your vision, make it plain, and align your daily actions with it. Vision is not meant to remain hidden in your heart. It must be articulated, clarified, and pursued with intention. Your journey is not defined by what others see, but by what you see within. Vision transforms obstacles into stepping stones and failures into lessons. It teaches you that setbacks are not the end, but the classroom of destiny. Dr. Monroe taught that vision is the key to leadership, because people follow clarity, not confusion. When you live with vision, you inspire others to rise above mediocrity and pursue greatness. Vision makes you unstoppable because it gives meaning to every step, courage to every challenge, and hope to every season. It is the divine picture of your future, waiting for you to walk it out with faith, discipline, and resilience. Chapter 2: Purpose as Foundation. Purpose is the anchor of life, the stabilizing force that keeps you grounded when the winds of uncertainty blow. Dr. Miles Monroe often said, "The greatest tragedy in life is not death, but life without purpose. To live without purpose is to exist without meaning, to chase success without fulfillment, and to walk without direction." Purpose answers the deepest question of the human heart. Why am I here? It is the reason behind your existence, the divine assignment that makes your journey matter. Without it, success becomes hollow, achievements lose their weight, and even wealth feels empty. Proverbs remind us, "Many are the plans in a man's heart, but it is the Lord's purpose that prevails." This truth teaches us that purpose is not optional, it is essential, for it is the very foundation upon which destiny is built. Purpose is discovered, not invented. It is already embedded in your design, waiting to be uncovered through reflection, prayer, and obedience. You do not create purpose. You uncover it, like a treasure hidden within your soul. Proverbs declare, "Counsel in the heart of man is like deep water, but a man of understanding will draw it out." Purpose is that deep water, waiting to be drawn out by wisdom, discernment, and divine guidance. Dr. Monroe emphasized that your gifts, passions, and talents are clues to your purpose, but they are not the purpose itself. Purpose is bigger than your career, larger than your ambitions, and deeper than your desires. It is the eternal assignment God placed within you before you were born. To discover it is to unlock the blueprint of your life, the design that explains your struggles, your strengths, and your story. When you walk in purpose, You become unstoppable because you are no longer driven by external validation or temporary applause. Your journey becomes a mission, and every step is infused with meaning. Purpose transforms ordinary tasks into sacred duties, turning daily routines into acts of destiny. It is the fuel that sustains vision and the light that guides destiny. Dr. Monroe taught that when you know your purpose, quitting is no longer an option, because every challenge becomes preparation and every setback becomes a lesson. Purpose makes you resilient, courageous, and unwavering, because you understand that your life is not random, it is intentional. To own your journey, you must embrace your purpose, for it is the foundation upon which vision, discipline, and destiny are built. With purpose, you are not just living, you are fulfilling. Chapter 3: Discipline and Self-Mastery. Discipline is the bridge between vision and reality, the invisible thread that ties your dreams to your destiny. Without discipline, dreams remain fantasies, and potential lies dormant. Proverbs teach, "He who ignores discipline despises himself, but whoever heeds correction gains understanding." Discipline is not punishment, but training. It is the art of mastering yourself so that your actions align with your values and your habits reflect your highest calling. Dr. Miles Monroe often reminded us that discipline is the price of freedom, for only those who master themselves can truly live above impulse. Discipline is the daily decision to choose principle over pleasure, consistency over convenience, and righteousness over compromise. It is the quiet strength that transforms ordinary effort into extraordinary achievement. Dr. Monroe emphasized that success is predictable when discipline is applied. Discipline governs your time, your habits, and your focus. It is this silent force that builds character and ensures consistency, the unseen architect of greatness. Discipline teaches you to rise early when comfort whispers to sleep, to persist when fatigue urges you to quit, and to stay faithful when distractions call you away. Proverbs remind us, "The hand of the diligent will rule, but the lazy will be put to forced labor." Discipline is diligence in action. It is the steady hand that builds empires, the patient heart that nurtures vision, and the unwavering spirit that refuses to be swayed by temporary emotions. Success is not an accident. It is the harvest of disciplined choices sown daily. To be unstoppable, you must master your appetites, your emotions, and your impulses. Discipline is the guardrail that keeps you on the path of righteousness, protecting you from detours that lead to regret. It is not glamorous, but it is powerful. Those who embrace discipline own their journey with integrity and strength, for discipline is the foundation of self-mastery. Dr. Monroe taught that leadership begins with leading yourself, and discipline is the first step in that leadership. When you master yourself, you become trustworthy, resilient, and unshakable. Discipline transforms chaos into order, weakness into strength, and potential into reality. It is the crown of self-control and the proof of maturity. To walk in discipline is to walk in wisdom, and to walk in wisdom is to walk in destiny. Chapter 4: Faith as Fuel. Faith is the unseen engine that propels you forward, the invisible force that empowers you to walk into the unknown with confidence. Proverbs declare, Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. Faith is not blind optimism, nor is it wishful thinking. It is confidence in God's promises and in the purpose He has placed within you. Dr. Miles Monroe taught that faith is the currency of the kingdom, the medium through which we access divine provision and unlock destiny. Faith is the assurance that what you cannot yet see is already prepared, waiting for your obedience to bring it into reality. It is the conviction that your steps are ordered, even when the path is hidden. Without faith, vision remains a dream. With faith, vision becomes a journey. Dr. Monroe emphasized that faith allows you to transact with the invisible and bring it into the visible. Faith makes you unstoppable because it keeps you moving even when circumstances say stop. It is the fuel that ignites courage when fear whispers retreat, the strength that sustains perseverance when exhaustion demands surrender. Faith is not passive, it is active trust, expressed through action. Proverbs remind us, now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Faith is substance, not illusion. Evidence, not imagination. It is the bridge between promise and fulfillment, the power that transforms impossibility into testimony. Faith is the language of destiny, and those who speak it walk in authority that transcends natural limitations. Faith is tested in trials, but it grows in perseverance. To own your journey, you must walk by faith, not by sight. Sight sees obstacles. Faith sees opportunities. Sight sees failure. Faith sees preparation. Sight sees scarcity. Faith sees provision. Faith transforms fear into courage and uncertainty into opportunity. Dr. Monroe taught that faith is not meant to remove challenges, but to empower you to overcome them. Every trial becomes a classroom, every delay a lesson, and every setback a stepping stone. Faith is the anchor that steadies your soul, the fire that fuels your vision, and the shield that guards your heart. To be unstoppable, you must cultivate faith daily, for it is the fuel that keeps you pressing forward when everything else says quit. Faith is not just belief, it is action, conviction, and trust in the one who holds your destiny. Chapter 5. Wisdom as Guide. Wisdom is the principal thing, the crown jewel of life's journey. Proverbs remind us, wisdom is better than rubies, and all things desired cannot compare to it. Knowledge fills the mind, but wisdom directs the path. It is not merely the accumulation of facts, but the application of truth in the right way at the right time. Dr. Miles Monroe often taught that wisdom is the ability to discern the difference between good and best, urgent and important, temporary and eternal. Wisdom is the compass that ensures your decisions align with destiny, preventing you from wasting energy on pursuits that lead nowhere. Without wisdom, even the most gifted person may wander aimlessly. But with wisdom, every step becomes purposeful, every choice becomes strategic, and every action becomes fruitful. Wisdom makes you unstoppable because it prevents foolish mistakes and equips you to make righteous decisions. It is the silent guardian that protects you from regret and the guiding light that illuminates the path of destiny. Dr. Monroe emphasized that wisdom is not found in noise, but in reflection, not in haste, but in stillness. Wisdom whispers when the world shouts, reminding you that patience often achieves what impulse destroys. Proverbs declare, "In the multitude of counselors there is safety." Wisdom is cultivated through humility, listening, and learning from both success and failure. It teaches you to pause before you act, to weigh consequences before you decide, and to seek counsel before you commit. Wisdom is the difference between building on sand and building on rock, between temporary success and lasting legacy. Wisdom is gained through humility, counsel, and experience. To own your journey, you must seek wisdom daily, for it is the lamp that lights your path and the compass that directs your steps. Wisdom is not a one-time gift, but a lifelong pursuit, a treasure that grows richer with every season of life. Dr. Monroe taught that wisdom is the key to leadership, because people follow clarity, not confusion. When you walk in wisdom, you inspire trust, command respect, and leave a legacy of righteousness. Wisdom transforms challenges into lessons, failures into teachers, and victories into testimonies. To be unstoppable, you must embrace wisdom as your constant companion, for it is the guiding star that ensures your journey is not squandered but fulfilled. Wisdom is the voice of destiny, the guardian of purpose, and the foundation of greatness. Chapter 6. The Courage to Begin. Every great journey begins with a single step, yet that step is often the hardest to take. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the decision to move forward despite it. Proverbs declare, "The righteous are bold as a lion." Courage makes you unstoppable because it breaks the chains of hesitation and silences the voice of doubt. Fear whispers that you are not ready, that the conditions are not perfect, that failure is inevitable. But courage answers with conviction. "If I do not begin, I will never arrive." Dr. Miles Monroe taught that courage is the spark that ignites destiny, the force that transforms intention into action. Without courage, vision remains a dream and purpose remains dormant. With courage, the impossible becomes possible, and the ordinary becomes extraordinary. Dr. Monroe often reminded us that many dreams die in the graveyard of procrastination. Excuses whisper, doubts shout, and hesitation delays destiny. Courage is the antidote. It pushes you to act when fear says wait, and it compels you to move when comfort says stay. Courage is the decision to plant seeds even when the soil looks barren, to speak truth even when silence feels safer, and to step forward even when the path is unclear. Proverbs teach, "Do not withhold good when it is in your power to act." Courage is action in the face of uncertainty, obedience in the presence of risk, and faith expressed through boldness. It is the willingness to begin, knowing that beginnings are rarely perfect but always necessary. Courage is the key that unlocks progress, the fire that ignites momentum, and the strength that carries you through the unknown. To own your journey, you must dare to begin. Courage is contagious. When you step out, others are inspired to do the same. Courage transforms ordinary people into extraordinary leaders, because leadership is born in the willingness to act when others hesitate. Dr. Monroe taught that courage is not reserved for heroes. It is for anyone who chooses to rise above fear and embrace responsibility. Courage is the mother who perseveres for her children, the student who dreams beyond limitations, the worker who stands firm in integrity. To begin is to declare war on stagnation, to refuse to let fear dictate your destiny. Courage makes you unstoppable because it ensures that your journey does not remain a plan, but becomes a reality. It is the boldness to say, "I will start today," and the faith to believe that every step forward brings you closer to the fulfillment of your purpose. Chapter 7: Resilience in Trials. Life will test you, but resilience ensures you rise again. Proverbs remind us, though the righteous fall 7 times, they rise again. Resilience is the ability to recover, to bounce back, and to keep pressing forward when everything around you says quit. It is the inner strength that refuses to surrender, the determination that transforms defeat into defiance. Dr. Miles Monroe taught that storms are not meant to destroy you, but to reveal your strength. Trials are not signs of weakness, but opportunities to discover the depth of your endurance. Resilience is the testimony that you are stronger than your circumstances, that your spirit cannot be broken by temporary setbacks. It is the quiet courage that whispers, "This is not the end. I will rise again." Resilience makes you unstoppable because it turns setbacks into setups for comebacks. Every disappointment becomes a lesson, every failure a stepping stone, and every delay a preparation for greater victories. Dr. Monroe emphasized that resilience is not about avoiding pain, but about transforming pain into growth. Storms may bend you, but they cannot break you when resilience is your anchor. Proverbs declare, "If you faint in the day of adversity, your strength is small. Resilience enlarges your strength, teaching you to endure hardship with dignity and to face challenges with courage. It is the ability to stand tall in the midst of chaos, to keep moving when the path is blocked, and to believe that tomorrow holds promise even when today feels heavy. Resilience is built through faith, discipline, and perspective. Faith reminds you that God is with you in the storm. Discipline keeps you steady when emotions waver. Perspective teaches you to see trials as teachers and pain as preparation. Dr. Monroe taught that resilience is the proof of maturity, the evidence that you have learned to trust the process of growth. To own your journey, you must embrace resilience as a lifestyle, not just a reaction. Resilience is not passive endurance, but active determination. It is the decision to rise again, to rebuild, and to continue forward with greater wisdom. It is the crown of those who refuse to be defined by tragedy, the strength of those who transform wounds into wisdom, and the victory of those who choose to rise again and again. Chapter 8: The Power of Character. Character is the foundation of trust, the invisible strength that sustains success and ensures that greatness is not only achieved but preserved. Proverbs declare, "A good name is more desirable than great riches." To be esteemed is better than silver or gold. Character makes you unstoppable because it is the anchor that holds you steady when temptations arise and the storms of life threaten to shake your integrity. Without character, achievements collapse under the weight of corruption and influence fades into disgrace. Dr. Miles Monroe taught that gifts may open doors, but only character keeps them open. Talent may impress, But character inspires trust, and trust is the currency of true leadership. Character is righteousness in action. It is integrity, honesty, and humility lived daily. It is not what you say, but what you consistently do. Dr. Monroe emphasized that character is the sum of your choices, the reflection of your values, and the evidence of your convictions. It is forged in the hidden places, in the decisions you make when no one is watching, and in the commitments you keep when it would be easier to compromise. Proverbs remind us, the integrity of the upright guides them, but the unfaithful are destroyed by their duplicity. Character is the guiding force that ensures your journey is honorable, that your influence is pure, and that your legacy is untainted. It is the invisible architecture of greatness, the unseen strength that sustains vision and purpose. To own your journey, you must guard your character more than your reputation. Reputation is what people think of you. Character is who you truly are. Reputation can be built in a moment and destroyed in an instant. But character endures because it is rooted in truth. Dr. Monroe taught that character is the foundation of leadership because people follow consistency, not charisma. Character ensures that your journey is not only successful, but honorable, not only impactful, but righteous. It is the proof that your greatness is authentic, the evidence that your influence is trustworthy, and the assurance that your legacy will endure. To be unstoppable, you must cultivate character daily, for it is the strength that magnifies talent, the virtue that sustains vision, and the principle that ensures your destiny is fulfilled with honor. Chapter 9. The Value of Relationships. No journey is traveled alone, for life is designed to be lived in connection. Proverbs remind us, iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another. Relationships are the networks of destiny, the bridges that connect you to opportunities, wisdom, and strength. They can either propel you forward or pull you down, depending on the quality of the people you allow into your circle. Dr. Miles Monroe taught that relationships are divine assignments. Every person in your life is either a contributor to your purpose or a distraction from it. To be unstoppable, you must discern the difference. The right relationships will sharpen your vision, strengthen your resolve, and encourage your faith, while the wrong ones will drain your energy, cloud your judgment, and derail your journey. Dr. Monroe emphasized that relationships must be purposeful. The right people will inspire, challenge, and support you, pushing you toward growth and accountability. They are not merely companions, but partners in destiny, aligned with your values and committed to your success. Proverbs declare, "Two are better than one, because they have a good return for their labor." If either of them falls, one can help the other up. Purposeful relationships are lifelines in seasons of struggle and amplifiers in seasons of triumph. They remind you that greatness is not achieved in isolation, but in collaboration. The wrong people, however, will distract, drain, and derail you, pulling you into cycles of compromise and mediocrity. To walk with the wise is to grow wise. To walk with fools is to inherit folly. To be unstoppable, you must cultivate relationships that align with your vision and values. Own your journey by choosing companions wisely, for your associations determine your acceleration. Dr. Monroe taught that your friends are a prophecy of your future. Who you walk with today shapes who you become tomorrow. Relationships are not neutral. They either add or subtract, multiply or divide. To build a life of impact, you must surround yourself with those who see your potential, speak to your purpose, and stand with you in trials. Guard your circle, for it is the soil in which your destiny grows. When you walk with people of integrity, faith, and wisdom, your journey becomes unstoppable, because you are strengthened not only by your own resolve, but by the collective power of those who walk beside you. Chapter 10. Leadership and Influence. Leadership is not a title, but influence, the ability to inspire, guide, and shape the lives of others. Proverbs declare, "The king's heart is in the hand of the Lord. He directs it like a watercourse, wherever he pleases." Leadership makes you unstoppable because it multiplies your impact, extending your reach beyond your own efforts. True leadership is not measured by the number of followers, but by the depth of transformation you bring to those entrusted to your care. Dr. Miles Monroe taught that leadership is not about position, but about disposition. It is about serving with humility, leading with integrity, and living with vision. Titles may fade, but influence endures, because it is rooted in character and purpose. Dr. Monroe emphasized that true leadership begins with self-leadership. You cannot lead others until you lead yourself. Leadership is service, sacrifice, and stewardship. It is the daily discipline of aligning your actions with your values, the courage to make decisions that honor righteousness, and the humility to place the needs of others above your own. Proverbs remind us, "By justice a king gives a country stability, but those who are greedy for bribes tear it down." Leadership is not about control, but about responsibility, not about dominance, but about direction. It is the willingness to carry burdens, to stand firm in storms, and to model the principles you expect others to follow. Leadership is influence born of consistency, trust, and vision. To own your journey, you must embrace leadership as responsibility. Influence is not about control, but about inspiration. Leadership ensures that your journey leaves footprints for others to follow, guiding them toward wisdom, courage, and purpose. Dr. Monroe taught that leadership is legacy. It is not what you achieve for yourself, but what you empower others to achieve. Leadership is the art of multiplying greatness, of turning vision into movement and purpose into culture. To be unstoppable, you must lead with integrity, serve with humility, and inspire with courage. Leadership is not about being above others, but about walking beside them, showing the way forward. When you embrace leadership as influence, your journey becomes more than personal, it becomes generational, leaving a mark that endures long after your steps have ceased. Chapter 11. Legacy and Impact. Legacy is the echo of your life after you are gone, the imprint of your choices that continues to speak long after your voice is silent. Proverbs remind us, "The memory of the righteous is blessed." Legacy makes you unstoppable because it outlives you, extending your influence into generations yet unborn. Dr. Miles Monroe taught that success without succession is failure, for true greatness is not measured by what you achieve in your lifetime, but by what you leave behind for others to build upon. Legacy is not about wealth or possessions, but about wisdom, values, and principles passed on to the next generation. It is the inheritance of character, the gift of discipline, and the treasure of faith that shapes lives beyond your own. Dr. Monroe emphasized that legacy is not accidental, it is intentional. Every decision becomes a seed, every action a testimony, every sacrifice a foundation for those who will come after you. Proverbs declare, "A good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children." This inheritance is more than material. It is spiritual, moral, and intellectual. Legacy is the discipline you model, the wisdom you impart, and the principles you live. It is the stories told about your courage, the lessons remembered from your failures, and the inspiration drawn from your victories. Legacy ensures that your journey continues even when your steps cease, because your life becomes a living example, a beacon of righteousness, and a roadmap for others to follow. To own your journey, you must live with legacy in mind. Legacy is not reserved for the famous or the powerful. It is available to anyone who chooses to live with purpose and principle. Dr. Monroe taught that every act of kindness, every word of encouragement, and every lesson taught becomes part of the inheritance you leave behind. Legacy is built daily, in the quiet consistency of living with integrity and the boldness of walking in faith. To be unstoppable is to understand that your life is not just about you, it is about the generations you influence, the communities you uplift, and the destiny you shape. Legacy is the bridge between mortality and immortality, ensuring that your impact endures long after your breath has ceased. It is the crown of a life well lived, the testimony of wisdom applied, and the eternal reminder that your journey mattered. Chapter 12. Destiny Fulfilled. Destiny is not a destination, but a journey lived in obedience and purpose. It is not a single moment of triumph, but the accumulation of faithful steps taken in alignment with God's plan. Proverbs declare, "Many are the plans in a man's heart, but it is the Lord's purpose that prevails." Destiny makes you unstoppable because it aligns you with eternal significance, lifting your life beyond temporary pursuits and anchoring it in divine intention. Dr. Miles Monroe taught that destiny is fulfilled when you maximize your potential and serve your generation. Destiny is not about fame, but about faithfulness, not about applause, but about obedience. To live in destiny is to walk daily in purpose, to embrace discipline, and to trust that every step is part of a greater design. Dr. Monroe emphasized that destiny is not something you stumble upon, it is something you cultivate through vision, discipline, and resilience. Destiny is fulfilled when you refuse to bury your talents, when you multiply your gifts, and when you pour your life into service. Proverbs remind us, "Commit to the Lord whatever you do, and He will establish your plans." Destiny is established not by chance, but by commitment, not by luck, but by diligence. It is the crown of a life lived with integrity, the reward of perseverance, and the testimony of faithfulness. Destiny is not measured by how much you accumulate, but by how much you contribute, not by how high you rise, but by how deeply you impact. It is the eternal echo of a life that mattered, a journey that fulfilled its divine assignment. To own your journey, you must finish strong. Destiny fulfilled is not measured by applause, but by obedience, not by recognition, but by righteousness. It is the crown of a life lived with vision, purpose, and discipline. Dr. Monroe taught that destiny is about maximizing your potential before leaving this earth, ensuring that you die empty, having poured out everything God placed within you. To finish strong is to leave nothing undone, to complete the assignment entrusted to you, and to ensure that your life becomes a testimony of faithfulness. Destiny fulfilled is the ultimate victory. It is the moment when your journey aligns perfectly with God's purpose, when your story becomes a legacy, and when your life becomes a beacon of inspiration for generations to come. Destiny is not the end. It is the fulfillment of everything you were created to be. Closing summary. Your journey is sacred. To be unstoppable is to walk with vision, purpose, discipline, faith, wisdom, courage, resilience, character, and love for relationships. It is to embrace leadership, to live with legacy in mind, and to fulfill destiny with obedience and righteousness. Proverbs remind us, better is the end of a thing than its beginning. The end of your journey is not defined by applause or recognition, but by faithfulness to the assignment God placed within you. Every chapter of your life is a testimony, every decision a seed, and every trial a teacher. To be unstoppable is to rise above mediocrity, to silence the voices of doubt, and to walk boldly in the path of divine purpose. Dr. Miles Monroe taught that success is not measured by what you accumulate, but by what you contribute, not by how high you rise, but by how deeply you impact. Your journey is not about competition, but about destiny, not about speed, but about direction. To own your journey is to embrace the principles that shape greatness, vision that guides, purpose that anchors, discipline that strengthens, faith that fuels, wisdom that directs, courage that begins, resilience that endures, character that sustains, relationships that sharpen, leadership that multiplies, legacy that outlives, and destiny that fulfills. These are not mere concepts, but living truths, eternal principles that transform ordinary lives into extraordinary testimonies. As you close this audiobook, let these words sink deep into your spirit. You are not defined by your past, but by your purpose. You are not limited by your failures, but empowered by your faith. You are not bound by fear, but liberated by courage. Your breakthrough is closer than you imagine, and your destiny is greater than you can comprehend. To be unstoppable is to live with righteousness, to walk with wisdom, and to finish strong. Own your journey, for it is the greatest gift you have been entrusted with. And when your steps cease, may your legacy continue, echoing through generations as proof that you lived with vision, walked with purpose, and fulfilled your destiny. Thank you for listening. If this audiobook inspired you, please like, share, and subscribe to AI Audiobooks Empire. Remember, destiny is not about applause, but obedience. To finish strong is to live with vision, purpose, and faith. The end.